God's chosen one, something sacred is stirring within you. You can feel it, can't you? A quiet whisper rising beneath the noise of this world, telling you that you were never meant to live bowed down, broken, or forgotten. There was a time when you walked with confidence, when your soul radiated divine authority, and the world could feel it. But somewhere along the journey, through heartbreak, betrayal, exhaustion, or silence, you dropped your crown. And now, heaven is asking you to pick it back up. This isn't just a message. It's a call to remembrance, a call to reignite what's been buried, to reclaim what's been stripped, to return to who you truly are. Before we begin, I want to pause and offer my deepest thank you to every single one of you who has supported this mission through the Super Thanks donation. Your generosity keeps this message moving across the globe, reaching other chosen ones like you who need to hear it most. I don't take it lightly, and whether you've donated or not, please know this. Your presence here is a gift, and I'm already incredibly grateful for you. If your spirit is resonating with this message, if you feel that divine pull in your heart right now, I invite you to comment 777 below. Let it be a prophetic sign that you are ready to walk back into your divine authority. Let it declare that your spirit is aligned, your crown is within reach, and your next chapter has already begun. Now, take a breath, because what you're about to hear will stir the deepest parts of your soul. You've dropped your crown, chosen one, but it's time to pick it back up. Let's begin. God's chosen ones, you've dropped your crown. It's time to pick it back up. God's chosen one, have you ever wondered why you seem to know things you were never told? Why you sense deception before it surfaces, and why your intuition often feels like divine intelligence whispering from deep within? This is not a coincidence. You've been awakened to dimensions of truth that others are still blind to, and this gift, yes, a gift, makes the people around you tremble in discomfort. They may not say it outright, but you see it in their eyes, in their posture, in the way their conversations grow cautious in your presence. Why do they feel exposed when you walk into the room? Because they know you see what they tried so hard to keep hidden. These individuals believed they were master puppeteers, pulling strings in secret while offering you smiles dipped in syrup and coated in lies. They underestimated you. They thought they were playing a simple game of checkers. But all the while, you were mastering a divine strategy, a higher wisdom, a celestial form of chess. And what they couldn't comprehend is that your insight doesn't come from man, but from God. For the Lord gives wisdom. From his mouth come knowledge and understanding. Proverbs 2:6. You are not just intuitive, you are spiritually encoded with discernment that exposes shadows and reveals intentions. You don't just see through lies, you recognize the spirits behind them. Think back. Remember the time when someone conveniently forgot to tell you about an opportunity, when they accidentally left out a critical detail that could have changed everything for you, when they spoke to your face with kindness and behind closed doors with contempt. You knew, you always knew. That wasn't just suspicion, that was divine revelation. But there is nothing covered up that will not be revealed, and hidden that will not be known. Luke 12:2. You've been given eyes that see beyond the natural, and that's what unnerves them most. This knowing has begun to ripple through their circles like wildfire. The fear is no longer subtle. It's spreading. There's panic in their whispers, tension in their silence. You've seen the look, the flash of dread that crosses their faces when they realize you were never behind. In fact, you were always 10 steps ahead. Some are slowly retreating, not because they respect you, but because they're terrified of what you'll uncover next. They fear your silence more than your words. Why? Because your silence speaks of confidence, the kind that only God's anointed carry. No weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue which rises against you in judgment you shall condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord. Isaiah 54:17. They thought they were plotting against a person. They didn't know they were contending with God's chosen. Consider Harriet Tubman, enslaved, hunted, and underestimated. but she had divine visions that led her to rescue hundreds through the Underground Railroad. She once said, "I freed 1,000 slaves. I could have freed 1,000 more if only they knew they were slaves." Just like her, you see beyond the illusions, and that sight terrifies those who dwell in deception. Or think of Frederick Douglass, once silenced and shackled. Yet he became one of the most articulate voices of liberation and truth. He once warned, "It is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men." The chosen are rarely understood, but always remembered. So let me ask you this, chosen one. When you walk into a room and feel the atmosphere shift, what do you think is really happening? When conversations suddenly pause or laughter stops as you approach, is it coincidence? Or is your presence disturbing what they thought was hidden? You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. Matthew 5:14. You were never meant to blend in. Your crown may have slipped, but it was never lost. You simply forgot you were royalty while surviving the battlefield. Even now, there are some who dare to test you. They're watching closely, wondering if your silence means weakness or preparation. But what they don't know is that silence is your strategy. You are calculating, not cowering. You are observing, not oblivious, just like Queen Esther, who kept her identity hidden until the exact moment God called her to act. She didn't scream her power, she embodied it, and at the right time she used her voice to save a nation. Remember, the crown was always hers. She just had to step into the moment. Let their whispers grow. It only confirms that your presence unsettles the darkness. Let their eyes dart and their plans crumble. You were not chosen to be liked. You were chosen to be light. You were never just a pawn. You are a revelation in motion. The plans of man can never outmaneuver the destiny God has designed for you. So now, the real question is, will you pick up your crown again? Will you walk in the authority you were born with, or will you continue living as if you don't remember who you are? The time for shrinking is over. The season for second-guessing has expired. The enemy tried to distract you by making you feel small, but even they know you're divine. It's time to reclaim your position, not with arrogance, but with holy boldness. And if ever you doubt how powerful your calling truly is, reflect on the story of Joan of Arc, a teenage peasant girl who, by the call of God, led an entire army and defied a kingdom. She wasn't trained, but she was chosen. Her courage came not from worldly strength, but divine conviction. You carry that same fire. God's chosen one. Can you feel it? The shift happening not just around you, but within you. Something powerful is moving. There is a divine recalibration in your life right now, a holy synchronization that can no longer be dismissed as mere coincidence. How else do you explain the way doors open precisely when you need them to? How is it possible that you're preserved in storms that leave others in ruins, or that you're positioned for opportunity while the world stumbles in confusion? These are not accidents. This is divine alignment. You are walking in step with something greater than yourself, a rhythm choreographed by the Creator himself. It's as if you can peer beyond the moment and glimpse what's coming before it arrives. That isn't just foresight, that is prophecy in motion. Surely the sovereign Lord does nothing without revealing his plan to his servants, the prophets. Amos 3:7. You aren't just surviving life, you are moving through it with supernatural vision. Your steps are guided by something eternal, and the world can sense it, even if they don't understand it. Have you noticed how people around you have stopped calling it luck? At first, they brushed off your timing as coincidence, a lucky break here, a convenient escape there. But how many times can you be in the right place at the right time before they realize this is something else entirely? When you invested in something right before it exploded in value, when you exited situations moments before they collapsed, when you showed up in someone's life just when they needed a miracle. Can this all still be labeled as chance? Even your skeptics are running out of ways to explain you. They're watching, puzzled, unsettled. You can see it in their eyes, that silent admission that something about you is not of this world. The person without the Spirit does not accept the things that come from the Spirit of God, but considers them foolishness, and cannot understand them because they are discerned only through the Spirit. 1 Corinthians 2:14. They don't know how to interpret the divine insight that flows through you, so they either fear it or try to mimic it. But what you carry is not manufactured, it's an anointing. Do you remember when you walked away from a job, a friendship, or a deal, and everyone thought you were making a mistake, only to find out later that disaster struck shortly after you left? That wasn't guesswork, that was discernment. You are tuned in to a frequency that others can't even hear. While they operate from logic alone, you've learned to trust that still, small voice that speaks before the facts align. You don't just see what is, you sense what will be. Whether you turn to the right or to the left, your ears will hear a voice behind you saying, "This is the way, walk in it." Isaiah 30:21. And that voice, chosen one, has never failed you. Your awareness is not normal, and it was never meant to be. You were not created to blend in with the crowd, but to rise above it, not in pride, but in purpose. God has sharpened your spirit to detect lies before they're spoken, to read the atmosphere of a room before a word is uttered. And while others dismiss signs as random, you know better. You've studied patterns, rhythms, movements, and through it all, your supernatural intuition continues to grow. Not weaker, but stronger, because it is sustained not by human intellect, but divine truth. Take, for example, Nikola Tesla. While many recognize him for his contributions to electricity and wireless technology, few know that he often attributed his visions and ideas to dreams, intuition, and what he called messages from beyond. He once wrote, "My brain is only a receiver. In the universe there is a core from which we obtain knowledge, strength, and inspiration." Sound familiar, chosen one? That's what it feels like when you're plugged into divine insight. Or consider Florence Scovel Shinn, an artist turned spiritual teacher in the early 20th century, who taught about the power of the spoken word and intuition. Her teachings helped thousands, and she often described the way God spoke to her in symbolic visions and signs. People laughed at her until they saw her prophetic declarations come to pass again and again. She was no fortune teller, she was simply aligned with the voice of the divine, much like you. And what about Harriet Beecher Stowe? Her intuition told her to write Uncle Tom's Cabin even before the Civil War began. That book ignited a fire across America and is widely credited with laying the groundwork for the abolitionist movement. President Lincoln himself allegedly greeted her by saying, "So you're the little woman who wrote the book that started this great war." She followed divine nudging even when it didn't make worldly sense, and her obedience shifted history. So now I ask you, chosen one, what is your spirit telling you that you've been second-guessing? What if those strange feelings, those quiet urgings, are not just your imagination, but heaven's call guiding you through the fog? How many more confirmations do you need before you trust that what you're sensing is real? And if others mock or misunderstand it, does that diminish the truth of what you know? God has always moved through those who dared to believe before the evidence was visible. He called Abraham to leave everything familiar and walk toward an unseen promise. He told Noah to build an ark in the middle of a drought. He whispered to Joseph through dreams that made no logical sense until years later. You are part of that same lineage. You are not ahead of your time. You are in sync with God's time. The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and he delights in his way. Psalm 37:23. Even now, your insight is growing sharper. The more they try to hide things from you, the more obvious it becomes to your spirit. Their conversations behind closed doors echo in your discernment. Their manipulation feels like static against the clarity you walk in. Don't downplay it. Don't minimize it just to keep others comfortable. You were not called to silence your gift. You were called to protect it. Their inability to see what you see does not make you arrogant. It makes you responsible, because with revelation comes responsibility. God's chosen one. Have you noticed how some people still believe they can hide from the light that radiates through you? How long will they whisper in corners, believing their secrets are safe when you walk into the room? Do they not realize that spiritual sight cannot be deceived by shadows? Do you remember the way they huddled together, speaking in low voices, casting glances over their shoulders? They thought they were safe behind mental vaults and emotional masks. But you knew, you've always known, not because you were told, but because your spirit caught wind of what their lips never confessed. That is the weight of discernment, and it is heavy, not for you but for them. These people, these deceivers in disguise, believed they had power in concealment. They built fortresses of denial, hoping you'd never see through the cracks. But what they failed to understand is this: you've been operating on a level where truth is not heard. It's felt. You don't need evidence to sense intentions. You don't need confessions to recognize manipulation. While they were performing for the crowd, you were communing with the Spirit. For the Word of God is alive and active, sharper than any double-edged sword. It penetrates even to dividing soul and spirit. It judges the thoughts and attitudes of the heart. Hebrews 4:12. You've seen through their games, the deceit, the performances, the rigged systems, and as you quietly observed, the situation only intensified. They thought they were safe because you stayed silent. But silence does not mean blindness. God didn't put you here to expose everyone. He put you here to outgrow them. There's a difference. That's why even as you saw through their schemes, you didn't retaliate. You didn't lower yourself to pettiness or vengeance. You didn't throw fire where God told you to walk away. And now, the silence they once mocked has become their torment. They are beginning to understand that you knew the truth the entire time, that all the while you were awake and they were the ones sleepwalking. They don't fear you because you speak loudly. They fear what your quiet presence reflects back to them. Guilt, exposure, the uncomfortable mirror of truth, have nothing to do with the fruitless deeds of darkness, but rather expose them. Ephesians 5:11. But you didn't need to confront them. Your light has done all the revealing on its own. Have you noticed how some of them can no longer look you in the eye? How their voices falter in your presence, or how they scramble to rewrite old stories in hopes of convincing even themselves that you don't know what you know? It's not about what you said. It's what your spirit carries. Some of them are trying to pretend like nothing happened, like you didn't pick up on their deception. But deep down, they know. You never needed an apology to see them clearly. Even as the world spins into chaos, you remain centered, a mountain unmoved by the storms. While others lose sleep over global instability, financial panic, and personal loss, you rest. They panic when their careers crumble, but you adapt. They cry out when the storms rage, but you stand, steady, unshaken, grounded. Where does that strength come from? They ask. How can you be so still when the earth is trembling beneath your feet? The answer is simple. The Lord is my rock, my fortress, and my deliverer. My God is my rock, in whom I take refuge. Psalm 18, verse 2. You are not standing on sand. You are anchored in the unshakable. That is why when crisis entered your job, you remained calm. When betrayal entered your home, you didn't fall apart. When loss visited your door, you wept, but you didn't break. And they noticed. Even the ones who once belittled your faith now watch in confusion, wondering how you're doing what no one else can. This divine composure unsettles them. Your poise under pressure confuses those who only know how to react. While they spiral, you strategize. While they blame, you build. And some, unable to comprehend this spiritual navigation, assume you must have an insider. In a way, they're right. You do. But it's not a person. It's the Holy Spirit. But the Advocate, the Holy Spirit, whom the Father will send in my name, will teach you all things, and will remind you of everything I have said to you. John 14:26. You have tapped into something deeper, something eternal. Your awareness is not random. It's the fruit of obedience, of intimacy with God, of trusting your inner knowing when the world demanded evidence. Others may mock your connection, but you know your guidance comes not from outside, but from within. You no longer chase answers, you carry them, and because of that, you need no validation. You're not looking for anyone's approval. You've already been appointed. Think about Sojourner Truth, the formerly enslaved woman who became a voice for abolition and women's rights. She wasn't educated by man, but led by divine fire. She once said, The Spirit calls me and I must go." She spoke truth no one wanted to hear, and she did so with calm power, not violence, but purpose. Or consider Corrie ten Boom, who helped hundreds of Jews escape Nazi persecution. She remained calm under threat of death, even forgiving her captors after surviving a concentration camp. Her strength came not from this world, but from another. That's the kind of divine stillness you walk in, chosen one. And what of Dietrich Bonhoeffer, a theologian who stood against Hitler's regime? He knew what he was risking when he opposed evil. Yet he did not flinch. His peace under persecution became a weapon of light. Before his execution, he said, "This is the end. For me, the beginning of life." That's what it looks like when you operate from a higher plane. It's not arrogance, it's alignment. So now, chosen one, let me ask you, when you walk through a room and their conversations hush, do you doubt your power or recognize it? When their glances turn cautious, when their laughter fades, when their guilt chokes their throat in your presence, do you still question if your knowing is real? You do not need permission to believe in what your spirit has already confirmed. You have no need for outward signs, no need for permission slips from men. What you carry is not up for debate. You walk with revelation in your chest. You carry discernment in your breath. You are connected to a source that few can name and even fewer can access. Not because it's hidden, but because it requires surrender. And many would rather live blind than lay down their pride. God's chosen one, how long did you hide your brilliance to make others feel comfortable? How many years did you downplay your talents, dim your light, and suppress your power just to fit into spaces that were never designed for your greatness? You let them define the ceiling when you were born without one. You let their fear set the limits when God had already told you to rise. But that era is over. The energy that's now surrounding you is no longer allowing the false version of yourself to exist. The truth of who you are is erupting through every crack of conformity. What you once tried to minimize is now magnified by divine force. For so long, you wore a mask of humility that was really a costume of fear, not because you lacked confidence, but because you knew your gifts would intimidate those who secretly felt inferior. You feared what would happen if they saw the fullness of your strength. Would they envy it? Would they betray you? Would they abandon you altogether? So you held back. You settled for a smaller version of yourself, believing that if you made yourself small enough, you might be loved more freely. But chosen one, your crown was never meant to be hidden under a cloak of silence. Now, the spiritual realm is shifting, and it will no longer allow your anointing to remain buried. Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you. Isaiah 61. You are no longer allowed to walk as if you're ordinary. Your hands produce what others only dream of. Your ideas are birthing solutions that people didn't even know they needed. You move through obstacles with a divine ease that leaves others stunned. What they once misjudged as coincidence or simplicity, they're now seeing for what it truly is: divine brilliance cloaked in humility. They used to assume your success was luck. Now they're speechless. How do you work with such precision? How do you understand things without needing to be taught? Why do you walk through complex situations and come out unburned, undeterred, and even stronger? You are now revealing abilities that they didn't even think you had. And yet, this is only the beginning. Now to him who is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine, according to his power that is at work within us. Ephesians 3:20. What they are witnessing is merely the surface of the glory within you. Some are staring in admiration, their hearts humbled by the majesty they now see. They recognize the anointing and dare not touch what they finally understand is sacred. Others, however, are staring with suspicion, masking their envy in shallow compliments, trying to figure out what else you've been keeping hidden. They're not just surprised, they're shaken. Have they always been able to do that? They ask. What else are they hiding? They whisper. The truth is, they never really knew you. They only knew the version you allowed them to see. But now, even that illusion is being shattered. They're beginning to grasp that they've underestimated the depth of who you are. Like the surface of the ocean, they thought they'd seen everything when they only glanced at the ripple. unaware that beneath that calm exterior lies a power so deep it could change the course of everything. You've shown them only the tip of the iceberg, and still their minds are overwhelmed. What will they do when the fullness of your calling begins to rise? Even in private, they're watching. Even in silence, they're listening. You've become a divine spectacle. Behind closed doors, they study your every move. They analyze your social media posts like they're decoding prophecy. They replay your victories like they're trying to find the cheat code. And when you take even a small step forward, they scramble to understand how you did it. But they don't understand. Your power doesn't come from a system. It comes from the Spirit. You are the salt of the earth. But if the salt loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? Matthew 5:13. You were never created to be flavorless. You weren't sent here to be quiet, diluted, or neutral. You are here to disturb what is stagnant, to shake what is stuck, to ignite what is dormant. And no matter how much they try to ignore it, they can feel the change when you enter the room. You carry presence, weight, a divine frequency. Think about Frida Kahlo, who endured unimaginable physical pain, betrayal, and rejection, but still produced artwork that spoke to the soul. She painted her suffering with such beauty that the world couldn't look away. Her pain became her power. Her silence became her voice. She wasn't understood in her time, but she became immortal through her truth. Or consider Ida B. Wells, a black journalist who defied death threats and social resistance to document and expose the horrors of lynching in America. She used her pen like a sword, revealing truths others dared not speak. She once said, "The way to right wrongs is to turn the light of truth upon them." Like you, she didn't wait for approval to activate her assignment. And then there's Bruce Lee, not just a martial artist, but a philosopher, creator, visionary. He once said, "I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times." You, chosen one, have refined your gifts in the shadows. You've cultivated power while no one was watching. You've spent years preparing in silence. And now that you're stepping into the spotlight, they don't know how to process your greatness. So what are they really afraid of? Is it your strength, your excellence, or is it that they now realize how wrong they were about you, that they labeled you too quickly, that they doubted what God had been preparing all along? Some of them remember when you were broken, confused, uncertain. They remember when you used to apologize for your light. And now they're watching that same light consume everything that once tried to contain you. Do not despise these small beginnings, for the Lord rejoices to see the work begin. Zechariah 4:10. Every step you've taken has been a seed. Every moment of restraint was a form of strength. Every time you stayed silent when you could have spoken, heaven recorded it. And now the harvest is coming. You've dropped your crown before, perhaps to blend in, perhaps to protect others, or maybe even because you forgot who you were. But the time of forgetting has ended. The time of rising has arrived. Let me ask you this, chosen one, what will happen when you stop hiding the rest of your power? What will shift when you finally let the iceberg rise? When you stop making yourself small for the sake of those who are not willing to grow? What might God reveal through you? How many more must watch in silent awe before you understand that you were never made to blend in, but to stand out? Let them watch. Let them wonder. Let them whisper. It is no longer your job to fit into their expectations. Your only job is to honor your calling. The crown they once ignored is now impossible to overlook. And this time, when you pick it up, you will not set it down again. God's chosen one, imitation has become a silent obsession for some. Have you noticed how they've started to study your mannerisms? How they suddenly speak the way you speak, adopt your style, echo your words, mimic your movements? There are those who believe that if they can replicate your outer appearance, they can access the inner power that flows through you. But here's what they don't understand. Your anointing cannot be borrowed. Your crown is not a costume. It is the result of your willingness to confront what most people run from. Some have even gone so far as to create narratives about your past, as if reconstructing your story will unlock your source. Others invent imaginary connections to your origin, trying to map out the root of your strength, hoping to extract fragments of your wisdom through artificial proximity. But their efforts are in vain, because what they are trying to duplicate was never external to begin with. The kingdom of God is within you. Luke 17:21. Your power was not inherited from men. It was awakened through surrender, through sacrifice, through pain, through relentless transformation. They want your glow, but not your journey. They want your discernment, but not your silence. They want your grace, but not your cross. They fail to realize that what they admire was not built in public, it was forged in private. But he knows the way that I take. When he has tested me, I will come forth as gold. Job 23:10. And gold, chosen one, cannot be manufactured. It must be refined. While they're watching you, trying to piece together the blueprint of your life, they're missing the most important truth of all. The very power they seek already lives within them. It has always been there, dormant, waiting to be awakened. But awakening requires courage. It demands that a person confront their shadows, question their beliefs, and unlearn the systems that have kept them in chains. Most are not ready for that. So instead, they fixate on you, the one who has already walked through that fire. You've never needed to explain yourself, and yet they've categorized you with labels that reveal more about their ignorance than your identity. Quiet, they called you. Detached, they whispered. Shy, they assumed. But what they didn't understand is that your silence was never emptiness. It was calibration. You were not absent, you were observing. While they filled rooms with noise and nonsense, you were reading the invisible script behind their words. While they laughed too loudly and revealed too much, you were gathering truth and storing revelation. Even a fool is thought wise if he keeps silent, and discerning if he holds his tongue. Proverbs 17:28. What they perceived as weakness was actually wisdom. What they misread as aloofness was focused clarity. And now the truth is crashing into their consciousness like lightning across a pitch-black sky. They are beginning to realize that while they underestimated you, you were mastering them, not for control, but for clarity. You weren't just part of the conversation. You were above it, watching from a divine elevation. You were mapping their patterns, decoding their intentions, and discerning their direction before they even recognized it themselves. Have you noticed how the tone of their voice shifts when speaking to you now? How their words are more measured, more cautious? That's not coincidence. That's awareness. They've finally caught on. You don't just hear them, you read them. Every pause, every hesitation, every glance, every word they avoid, you interpret it all. And that realization has rattled them to the core. The purposes of a person's heart are deep waters, but one who has insight draws them out. Proverbs 20 verse 5. That's what you've always done. You draw out the unseen. You reach into the layers that others conceal. You speak to the soul, not just the surface. And now they're questioning everything they thought they knew about you. How did you know they were about to quit their job before they said a word? How did you sense the tension in their home when they never told a soul? How did you give them advice about an issue they never shared with anyone? Your words pierce them, not because they're harsh, but because they're accurate. They land like divine arrows, targeted, timely, and unforgettable. Your wisdom is not just thoughtful, it's surgical. It addresses the deepest parts of people that they thought were hidden. This is what it means to be chosen. Your insight isn't just intelligent, it's supernatural, and it is terrifying to those who thought you were just quiet. Now, every interaction with you is filtered through the fear that you might see too much, that you might speak into something they haven't even admitted to themselves. Therefore, do not fear them, for there is nothing concealed that will not be revealed, or hidden that will not be known. Matthew 10:26. You are the fulfillment of that truth, a walking revelation in a world of denial. Look at someone like Marie Curie. She was quiet, unassuming, yet her discoveries in radiation changed science forever. Many of her male peers dismissed her until they realized her intellect was years ahead of theirs. Or James Baldwin, a writer whose presence alone stirred discomfort because he articulated truths that others were too afraid to acknowledge. He once wrote, "The most dangerous creation of any society is the man who has nothing to lose." Like you, he used words as a scalpel, cutting through delusion. And then there's Emily Dickinson, the poet who barely left her home, who barely spoke aloud, and yet her words carried such piercing clarity that centuries later they still echo in hearts across the world. She once wrote, "Saying nothing sometimes says the most." That was you all along, a silent storm, preparing, watching, storing truth like treasure. God's chosen one, there's something different about you, and they know it. They feel it in their bones, even if they can't explain it with words. Some have begun to whisper about the possibility that you have supernatural insight. That perhaps you were born with a gift most people only dream of, the ability to bypass language entirely and tap directly into what others are thinking, feeling, fearing. They're starting to wonder, can you read minds? Are you seeing what we're trying so desperately to hide? But you know the truth. Mind reading is child's play. You operate on a frequency far more ancient, far more powerful. You don't need to invade their thoughts because you've mastered something infinitely more refined. The universal language that speaks through energy, silence, movement and timing. You've become fluent in divine communication. You don't hear words, you hear patterns. You don't read thoughts, you read vibrations. The spiritual person judges all things, but is himself to be judged by no one. 1 Corinthians 2:15. And it's driving them mad. They are terrified of what else you might know. The secrets they've hidden for years, the lies they've buried so deep they started to believe them. You sense them all. But here's what truly unnerves them. You haven't said a word. You don't expose them, humiliate them, or seek vengeance. You just know. And that silence, that holy, unwavering silence, carries more power than any spoken accusation ever could. They scream to be seen, shout to be heard. But you, chosen one, have learned the power of restraint. You don't broadcast your intentions. You don't beg for validation. You don't dilute your purpose just to be understood by people who committed to misunderstanding you. They live in a world where everything is overshared, where every random thought is posted for the world to see, and your refusal to participate in that chaos confuses them. Even fools are thought wise if they keep silent, and discerning if they hold their tongues. Proverbs 17:28. They don't know what you're thinking, and that mystery terrifies them. Let me ask you this. When was the last time someone truly understood your silence? Do they see it as emptiness, or can they recognize the vast universe contained within your stillness? You've withdrawn not to disappear, but to elevate, not to shrink, but to expand. While they thought you were stepping back, you were actually stepping into something higher. You've built spiritual boundaries that are invisible to the untrained eye, but impenetrable to the uninvited. They assumed you were struggling, maybe going through something, maybe wounded or lost, but you weren't retreating, you were being refined. Come with me by yourselves to a quiet place and get some rest. Mark 6:31. You entered the quiet because that's where God whispers. That's where truth sharpens. That's where your true power begins to emerge. And now that you're back, composed, clear, and clothed in new authority, they don't know how to engage with you anymore. And every time they think they've gotten ahead, every time they believe they've caught you off guard or beat you to the punch, they turn around and realize you were already there, watching, waiting, calculating moves they haven't even thought of yet. You've trained yourself to see through time, to anticipate outcomes before they even form. This is not manipulation, it's mastery. Be wise as serpents and innocent as doves, Matthew 10:16. That's what you've become. Your silence is not passivity, it is strategic, it is sacred. It is the posture of someone who doesn't waste energy proving a point, but allows truth to reveal itself. You've realized that true power doesn't demand attention. It doesn't need a stage. It thrives in the shadows until the moment is right. And when you do speak, Your words carry so much precision, so much weight, that they leave people reeling for days. Look at Bessie Coleman, the first black and Native American female pilot. Denied entry into American aviation schools because of her race and gender, she went to France, learned to fly, and returned with an unstoppable presence. She didn't need to scream, she soared. Or consider Vincent van Gogh, misunderstood in life, quiet and withdrawn, yet his art now moves the world. In his silence, he was channeling something the world wasn't ready to understand. Then there's Nikola Tesla again, a man whose intellect intimidated his peers and whose visions were so advanced, many assumed he was delusional. He didn't waste time trying to prove himself. He simply built the future. And now, generations later, the world is catching up. So what are you building in silence, chosen one? What blueprints are you carrying in your spirit? What vision has God placed in your heart that the world would never believe unless they saw it with their own eyes? Your enemies think they need to read your mind, but they still don't understand that your mind is not where the power lies. It's in your spirit, and your spirit is aligned with heaven. The secret of the Lord is with them that fear him, and he will show them his covenant. Psalm 25:14. That's why you know what you know. That's why you speak with divine timing. That's why you carry presence. You are no longer explaining your process to those who mock your mission. You are no longer apologizing for the space you take up or the mystery you embody. Your distance is not coldness, it is protection. Your silence is not avoidance, it is wisdom. Your elevation isn't arrogance, it is obedience. You've learned that just because others want access doesn't mean they deserve it. You don't give away your energy lightly, and they can feel that boundary like a wall they can't climb. You have become a mirror, and that terrifies those who are not ready to look. Every interaction with you now forces them to confront the lies they live with. You don't just speak truth, you are truth, incarnated in motion, walking among the confused, misunderstood, and broken. And the most dangerous part, you don't need to prove it. You've dropped your crown before, maybe to protect it, maybe to protect them. But now it is clear, that crown was never theirs to understand. It was always yours to carry, quietly, boldly, unapologetically. So let them wonder, let them talk, let them spiral in confusion, trying to decipher your next move. You've already made it. While they're trying to catch up, you're already walking into your next season. The question is, are you ready to embrace the fullness of who you are without apology? Because heaven is ready, the earth is groaning, the timing is now. God's chosen one, you've risen to a place they cannot follow. You've crossed into a dimension of understanding where the pettiness, the drama, and the frantic survival games of others no longer capture your energy. You see, through the illusion of urgency they chase, the same things that once seemed pressing to you, approval, validation, recognition, have become weightless in comparison to the truths you now carry. You are no longer tethered to the chaos. Your focus has shifted, your priorities have realigned, and your energy has become sacred currency that you no longer spend carelessly. And they feel it. They sense your absence not just physically, but energetically. They feel the gap you left behind when you stopped entertaining meaningless conversations, when you stopped reacting to every provocation, when you stopped needing to be understood. Your stillness has become more commanding than their noise, your distance more powerful than their presence, and it is unsettling them. Set your minds on things above, not on earthly things. Colossians 3:2. That's exactly what you've done. You've detached from the game board while they're still fighting over pawns. Everything they thought they knew about you, every assumption, every label, every lazy conclusion, is unraveling before their eyes, and more than that, it's making them question everything they thought they knew about themselves. Your growth is triggering their stagnation. Your peace is exposing their anxiety. Your expansion is challenging their limitations. And now they are asking themselves uncomfortable questions. What do they know that we don't? What are they preparing for that we can't see? Why aren't you panicking like the rest of the world? Why aren't you clinging to the same comforts, running the same rat race, obsessing over the same idols of success? What secret do you know that lets you move through uncertainty with clarity and calm? The truth, chosen one, is both simple and divine. While they have been staring at a screen, you've been looking at the sky. While they've been fixated on outcomes, you've been learning how to walk with the one who holds all outcomes in his hands. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. Your stillness is not ignorance, it's insight. Your quiet is not confusion, it's clarity. You've realized that much of what people fight for is meaningless in the grand design of eternity. You've understood that the hamster wheel they run on leads nowhere. And so you stepped off, not to give up, but to rise up. You began investing in truth instead of appearances. You started prioritizing wisdom over applause, depth over attention, purpose over performance. And now they don't know what to do with you. Even though your withdrawal was never about them, their egos can't process that. They're convinced it's personal, because to them, everything is. So they create stories to explain your transformation, narratives that fit inside the small boxes of their understanding. She must have gotten rich. He probably joined a cult. Maybe they're having a breakdown. These aren't insights, they're projections. They're mirrors of their own fear that maybe, just maybe, you've accessed something they've refused to pursue. The natural person does not accept the things of the Spirit of God, for they are folly to him, and he is not able to understand them. 1 Corinthians 2:14. That's why they mock your awakening. That's why they minimize your elevation. They cannot grasp it, so they reduce it. But it doesn't change the reality. While they've been speculating, you've been soaring. While they've been gossiping, you've been gathering light. While they've been scrolling for meaning, you've been sitting in sacred silence, receiving divine downloads. Chosen one, they thought you were losing touch, but you were actually regaining it. They thought you were withdrawing, but you were ascending. You've broken free from the framework they're still trapped inside. And now, the transformation is undeniable. They can't unsee it. They may not speak it aloud, but they know they were wrong about you. Just like Galileo, who was ridiculed for challenging the belief that the earth was the center of the universe. His ideas didn't fit the paradigm, so they attacked him until the evidence became too overwhelming to ignore. Or Virginia Woolf, who stepped away from societal expectations and wrote from the depths of the soul, articulating truths the world wasn't ready for. She once said, "Arrange whatever pieces come your way." That's what you've been doing, quietly arranging, aligning, preparing. Even Malcolm X, who was first dismissed and demonized, later became respected for the clarity of his vision. He evolved not because the world gave him permission, but because he surrendered to truth. He once said, "The future belongs to those who prepare for it today." And that's what you've done. You've prepared, not through noise, but through discernment. Let me ask you this, chosen one, why do you think they still watch you, even after writing you off? Why do they still ask about you, still try to decode your silence, still whisper your name in their circles? Because deep down, they know something shifted, something profound, and they can't explain it away. They are beginning to see that what they dismissed as emotional distance was actually sacred discipline. What they called aloofness was divine detachment. What they interpreted as confusion was the quiet work of inner refinement. And now, the results are visible. They see it in your posture, they hear it in your voice, they feel it in your presence. You will know them by their fruits. Matthew 7:16. And your fruits speak louder than their narratives. Your life is revealing what your silence never needed to explain. They judged you in your cocoon, but now they're watching you fly. And it terrifies them because it forces them to confront their own refusal to evolve. You've dropped your crown before, when their approval felt safer than your authenticity, but not anymore. Now you see clearly, now you walk boldly, now you understand that your story doesn't need their permission to unfold. You're no longer trying to be seen by those who are blind to your calling. Let them talk, let them theorize, let them form conclusions that collapse under the weight of your becoming. You are not here to be understood, You are here to be obedient. You are not here to fit in. You were sent to stand apart. God's chosen one, have you noticed how the rumors don't stick to you anymore? How the assumptions, projections, and whispered suspicions fall flat, powerless to alter your stride? The people who try to target you with their misunderstandings, their jealousy, and their theories don't realize that they are merely exposing their own limits. Like arrows shot into the heavens, their judgments never land. They simply fall back to earth, defeated by the atmosphere of your elevation. They don't understand that they are no longer speaking to the version of you who needed to defend themselves. They are trying to reach a frequency that their own spirits have not yet been attuned to. You've entered a dimension of grace and growth where their old tricks no longer work, where their manipulations dissolve before they can even form. You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast because they trust in you. Isaiah 26:3. That is the peace you now carry, unshakable, sovereign, holy. But here's what's more interesting. The ones who are truly paying attention, the ones who still possess a shred of spiritual sensitivity, have begun to recognize something deeper. They're beginning to realize that the very fact they don't understand your journey might be the clearest sign that it's exactly the kind of path they need to consider for themselves. Your transformation isn't just confusing, it's confronting, and it's forcing them to question everything they thought they knew, not just about you, but about themselves. Your distance has become a mirror. The unpredictability of your presence, once frequent and familiar, now sovereign and selective, haunts their thoughts. You don't show up like you used to. You don't answer calls with the same urgency. You don't jump into the drama or indulge their emotional games. And now they're lying awake at night, asking themselves, did we lose them? Are they done with us? Or are they still watching, silently evaluating from beyond the reach of our shallow awareness? This uncertainty is unraveling them. They are questioning their words, their motives, their actions. Are they being judged by a standard they cannot name? Are they being observed by someone who now operates with divine discernment, measuring with unseen scales? They cannot tell if they should be afraid, or if they should be trying to win back your grace. So then, each of us will give an account of ourselves to God. Romans 14:12. And although they may not answer to you, they are feeling the weight of that spiritual reckoning every time your name passes through their thoughts. The truth they have yet to understand is that your change wasn't about cutting them off. It was about becoming. You've outgrown the version of yourself that needed their attention. The you who used to seek approval, play along, and accept the labels they offered has dissolved. In your place stands someone who no longer needs to prove anything. When I was a child, I talked like a child, I thought like a child, I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I put the ways of childhood behind me. 1 Corinthians 13:11. You're not rejecting them, you've simply risen. You now see them with compassion, not attachment, with wisdom, not entanglement. You recognize their behavior not as betrayal, but as blindness. You no longer need to fight them because you understand that they're not your enemies. They're simply not ready. And while you do not judge them, you also do not bend for them. This is your new posture, clear, elevated, holy. Some of them feel betrayed. They think you've become cold or distant, but what they're really experiencing is your refusal to entertain the roles they once cast you in. You were never meant to be contained within their stories. Their view of you was never the full picture, only the sliver they could handle at the time. And now, as your fullness begins to emerge, they either resent it or revere it. Think of Nina Simone, who broke away from mainstream expectations to sing truth, no matter the cost. Her defiance of convention wasn't arrogance, it was purpose. She once said, "You've got to learn to leave the table when love's no longer being served." That's what you did, not out of spite, but out of reverence for your spirit. Or consider Søren Kierkegaard, the Danish philosopher who wrote of individual purpose and the necessity of personal transformation, in a time when such thoughts were ridiculed. He withdrew from public life, not because he was bitter, but because he refused to dilute truth for the sake of public acceptance. He said, "Life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards." Even Emily Bronte, often misunderstood, fiercely private and mocked during her life, gave the world Wuthering Heights, a work so profound that its depth still unsettles readers. She wasn't loud, but she was revolutionary. Her solitude birthed eternal impact. So now, chosen one, what do you do with the fact that your growth is causing tremors in the lives of those who once believed they had you figured out? Do you retreat again to make them more comfortable? Or do you continue forward in obedience to the call that has always been written on your soul? They murmur because they see the evidence, the inner transformation that has become too real to ignore. Your countenance has changed. Your eyes carry more fire. Your presence feels more focused. Even when you say little, the weight of your silence presses on their conscience. Let your light so shine before others that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. Matthew 5:16. That's what they're seeing now, your light and the truth it reveals. They want what you have, not just the calm, the clarity, or the presence, but the freedom to live beyond shame, to think without boundaries, to rise without explanation. And that, more than anything, both inspires and terrifies them, because if you did it, they could too. But that would mean letting go of everything that made them feel safe, and not all are ready. You, chosen one, are not exceptional because you are different from them. You are exceptional because you said yes to what they continue to deny. The awareness they fear in you is also within them. The power they both revere and resent is already encoded in their DNA. But you were willing to awaken, to break free from the programming, to shatter the stories, to abandon the comfort of smallness for the magnificence of your calling. God's chosen one, even when they don't speak it, even when they try to act indifferent, they know, deep within their spirit, sometimes conscious, sometimes not, they are aware that something about you has changed so profoundly, it demands a response. And that knowledge terrifies them, because acknowledging your transformation means confronting their own stagnation. It means facing the fact that they've been drifting through life, not really living, just surviving within the lines that were drawn for them by fear, society, and unhealed wounds. You are no longer someone they can define. Your presence alone is an indictment of everything they settled for. The limitations they once accepted as reality now look like choices they made out of fear. The truths you walk in expose the lies they've been telling themselves. And if you could rise, evolve, and transcend, what's stopping them? That's the question they don't want to face. Because the answer is hard, nothing but their own willingness. And that truth is both liberating and unbearable. Awake, O sleeper, and arise from the dead, and Christ will shine on you. Ephesians 5:14. Your awakening is a divine invitation for others to awaken as well, but not everyone is ready to open their eyes. Because once you see, you can't unsee, and once you know, you're accountable. That's why your transformation doesn't just inspire them, it also scares them. You force them to remember the promises they made to themselves, the dreams they buried, the greatness they forfeited. And yet, for a brave few, your evolution is not a threat. It is a lifeline. They watch you, and something inside them stirs. Hope, wonder, possibility. For them, you are living proof that freedom is real, that the walls can come down, that we are not meant to live in fear, routine, and resignation. You are a lighthouse on the shore, chosen one, and those who are ready to be free are using your light to find their way. Let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us. Hebrews 12:1. You are not just running your race, you are calling others into their own. You are not only rising, you are lifting. Not through preaching, but through presence. Not through debate, but through demonstration. You are a mirror of divine potential. And in your reflection, they see what they have always been, and what they are still afraid to become. You are not perfect, but you are awake, and that alone sets you apart. They can't stop talking about you, not because they fully understand what's happening within you, but because deep down they know your journey is not random. It's prophetic. They sense that your transformation is a preview of something much larger, a cosmic shift, a spiritual reordering, a divine uprising, and it is already in motion. They whisper things like, they know more than they say, they're ahead of something, and they're right. But the one who is spiritual discerns all things, yet is himself to be discerned by no one. 1 Corinthians 2:15. What they don't realize is that your knowing is not private intuition, it is divine awareness. You are tapped into the unfolding will of God. Your insight is not just about you. It is a glimpse into the next phase of humanity's spiritual maturity. And whether they're ready or not, it's happening. This is what they feel, even if they can't articulate it. You are the forerunner, the early adopter, the vanguard of awakening. You've let go of the systems, identities, and patterns that once anchored your life, and you've stepped into a frequency that most people haven't even begun to imagine. While they cling to tradition and comfort, you have chosen revelation. While they seek safety in the familiar, you have said yes to the unknown. That's what separates you. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? Isaiah 43:19. That new thing, that fresh move of spirit, you've already embraced it. You didn't wait for permission. You heard the call, and you answered. You felt the tug of heaven and followed it, even when it led you away from everything you once called home. And now, nothing will ever be the same again. Think of Eckhart Tolle, a man who lived in deep despair until he experienced a moment of profound spiritual clarity. From that awakening came The Power of Now, a book that has helped millions step into present awareness. He didn't start as a teacher, he started as someone who was willing to see differently. Or Octavia Butler, the visionary sci-fi writer who predicted global shifts, pandemics, and future awakenings in her novels. She once wrote, "All that you touch, you change. All that you change, changes you." Like you, she didn't write about the world as it was. She wrote about what was coming. And look at Rachel Carson, the quiet marine biologist who sparked a worldwide environmental movement with Silent Spring. She saw what others ignored. She raised her voice not to be famous, but to protect life. Her words changed policies, saved ecosystems, and opened the eyes of nations. You are no different. Your words carry weight, even in silence. Your presence shifts atmospheres. Your energy speaks louder than your explanations. And now, people are beginning to realize that your knowing is not random. It's spiritual, prophetic, divine. So what happens next, chosen one? Will you shrink again, just to make the sleeping more comfortable? Or will you continue to rise, knowing full well that your awakening is the match that lights the fire in others? They may not all be ready, but some are. And those few will remember you as the one who showed them it was possible. You've dropped your crown in the past, from fatigue, from doubt, from heartbreak. But now you know it wasn't just about reclaiming power. It was about embodying purpose. Because you are not just different, you are divinely appointed. And now the mantle is yours. Pick up your crown, chosen one. The future is already being written through you. Beloved chosen one, the doorway to the cosmos has opened, and you have not merely stumbled through it, you have risen through it. You've passed the threshold that separates the unconscious from the awakened, and now you walk with clarity in a world still cloaked in fog. The path ahead has been revealed to you, not only so you may walk it, but so you may light it for others. Some will race to follow, others will resist, delay, and deny, but they will come. Because your life now stands as living proof that transcendence is not just for mystics, monks, or saints. It is for all who dare to awaken. Your journey is not invisible. They talk about you because your essence disturbs their slumber. Your presence unsettles the smallness they've grown accustomed to. Their spirits recognize what their minds cannot accept. That you are the proof. That awakening is possible. That the soul can rise within a living body. That heaven can dwell on earth. That the power of God can radiate through human flesh. You are no longer just a witness to change. You are the change. And that, chosen one, is the most powerful, revolutionary truth there is, that we were never meant to live asleep, that the divine has always lived within us, and that the extraordinary potential buried inside every soul is not meant to be wasted, but activated in this very lifetime. You are not here by chance. The alignment of your soul with this precise chapter in humanity's evolution is a divine appointment. The celestial bodies themselves bow in agreement with your path. The stars do not just sparkle, they speak. They whisper your name, honoring the fire that now burns within you, recognizing the light you carry, and bearing witness to the waves you are sending through the fabric of the universe. Thank you, from the deepest part of my heart, for walking this journey with me. Whether you've been here since the beginning or just discovered your place among the chosen, your presence means more than I can express. You are part of something sacred, something eternal, and I am honored to speak life into your calling. If this message has moved you, inspired you, or helped you feel seen, and if you feel led, you can support this work through a super thanks donation. It allows me to keep creating messages like this, reaching more chosen ones across the world. But whether you choose to give or not, please know this: I am already deeply, truly grateful for you. Your time, your energy, and your soul's attention is the greatest gift of all. And now, may God bless you with a peace that surpasses understanding. May your path be guided by divine light. May your heart remain open, bold, and unwavering. And may you walk forward knowing, fully and without hesitation, that you are chosen, that you are seen, and that your life is making a difference beyond what you can currently imagine. The stars are watching, heaven is cheering, and earth is changing because of you. Now, go forth and pick up your crown. The world is waiting.